All right, y'all. So Keith Thurman is trying to get back in the mix in the welterweight division, trying to get back to the top, trying to get back to, in the contention for a title shot. He seems to prefer getting an opportunity to fight Errol Spence Jr., a fight that eluded Errol Spence Jr. For quite some time when he was chasing Keith Thurman. However, now that the tables have turned, as Errol Spence Jr. himself has stated, Keith Thurman seems to be very interested in trying to fight Errol Spence Jr. I wonder why. But either way, now that that's the case and that's the fight that Keith wants, Keith has to put himself in contention for that fight. That's not a fight that Keith is going to be able to just, he shouldn't be able to just get himself into that fight without doing some work to get back up there. We know Errol Spence Jr. right now is tied up with Eugenio Ugas. We know Errol Spence Jr. has made it clear that he wants to fight Terrence Crawford next. Terrence Crawford has made it clear he wants to fight Errol Spence Jr. next. So the question remains, who should Keith Thurman fight? Keith Thurman has a former opponent who he himself has stated that he wanted to rematch. Many times when other fights were presented to Keith talked about wanting to rematch Danny Garcia. Danny Garcia has talked about wanting to rematch Keith Thurman. Now here it is, both guys don't have anything to do, don't have an opponent. I think this is a great time for these two guys to fight one another. You know what I'm saying? I think that Danny, coming off of a decision loss to Spence, is a much more viable fight for Keith Thurman than the fight he just had versus Mario Barrios, coming up from 140 and coming off a knockout loss to Tank Davis. This is a fight that will move the needle for Keith Thurman. This is a fight that his fan base can support. Danny Garcia's fan base can get excited about it. Boxing fans in general can get excited about it because it's kind of a crossroads type fight. You know what I'm saying? Like one of these guys is going to move forward in their career in a big way from winning this fight, and the other guy is probably going to be a step further back than where he already is. It's kind of going to be a situation to me, if these guys fight, where the loser of this fight has to take a hard look at himself and think about what he wants to do next in his career. We've heard Danny come out and talk about potentially going to 154, but he said he didn't want to be definitive about it because if the right fight's offered to him at 147, he will, he would take it, and he didn't want to look hypocritical if he says he's going to 154 and then he turns around and takes the fight at 147. So my question is Keith Thurman, the rematch that he says he wants, said he wanted, is that the right fight for him to stay at 147? I feel like it should be the right fight. Quite honestly, the way things are going, it will probably end up on pay-per-view, which I don't know how much I would appreciate that. But I, for one, think it will make a great undercard fight, especially if we could get the well, I ain't gonna say that. I was gonna say if we could get Spence Crawford and they put that on the undercard, but that would be too far, probably too far down the line. But also, I think the purse demands of Garcia and Thurman would dictate that they not be on the undercard of Spence Crawford. But either way, wherever they land, I think it'll be a good fight. I think it is a good fight for the fans. I think it's a good fight for the division. And I think it's a fight that you would have to sit down and really look at both fighters and figure out who you really favor to win that fight. Because I, for one, can't just go off of what happened in the first fight and decide who I think wins the rematch. I really would have to look at, some film on both guys in their most recent outings. And because neither guy is what he was when they fought years ago for that unification bout. So, that's all I got on it. It's a fight I'm interested in seeing. I think it's the right fight for Keith Thurman. I think it's the right fight for Danny Garcia. Um, and I think that it's the right fight for PBC to put on for those guys. But that's all I got on it. D-Lo 404 Boxing. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. I'm out. Peace.